Hey guys, I've got a really cool new product to show you. I've been testing this over the last week and a half. This is an inflator unit. It's not just any reflator unit. It is the most full-featured and useful one that I've come across in a long time. For the first time, I'm replacing what's going to be in my standard kit when I take a road trip. And this is also going to replace the unit that I use here in the garage for doing all of our vehicles, but specifically the motorcycle. Let me go through the features of this, but first of all, I want to show you that this thing is accurate, because if it's not an accurate gauge or inflator, it's not really of great use. Now, the most accurate gauge I have here are the cars, and this thing is within a pound. Obviously, I can't do decimal points in the car, but this thing is spot on, both in the wife's car and my car. So I trust it. That's the important thing. Now, it's not perfect. I'm going to go through a couple things that maybe they could improve, maybe not, because it might be a design challenge. But this thing is self-contained. It's all one unit. It's all digital. There's no manual gauge, so there's no drift or anything to think it's going to go out in the future. I've got a couple that did that. So what we have, and by the way, the instructions that you get, kind of throw them out because they're not exactly matching the operation, and that's a good thing in this case because it has more features than what they allude to in the written manual. But what you get with it is a nice carrying pouch, and that's really handy for throwing everything in the bike. Get a USB cable and adapters so you can do balls, toys, and both kinds of bicycle valves. To power it up, you just hold down the power button for a couple seconds and it comes on. Now you can see that there are a lot of different symbols up here, but they call these modes. Like I said, throw out what the instructions say. Just consider these presets. So here's one design change I think they should make. Get rid of these symbols and whatever they think they're supposed to be used for. Just call them preset 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're really cool because you can not only change the unit of measure, you've got PSI, kph, and bar to choose from. You can just select the mode for each, select the unit of measure for each mode, but you can preset levels for each preset, each mode. So what I've done is I set 1 for my bike rear, 1 for my bike front, 1 for my car front, 1 for my car rear, because all 4 need different values. And so you can just program them in and let it go. You just turn it on, let it pump up, and it shuts off at that preset. Now, of course, you can turn it back on manually if you want to go above or below or do whatever with it, but you've got those 4 presets built in. So it just makes it a no-brainer to use for maintenance when you just want to top up your vehicles up to 4 different preset values. That is just so freaking handy. It's fairly lightweight. It's a huge lithium battery. I've been experimenting with it, inflating things up and letting air back out and seeing how fast they inflate. It is a very fast pump. It's faster than my Ryobi over there, which has been kind of my staple because it's a great inflator. The gauge has turned out to be useless. It was very accurate when I got it, but now it's crap. I mean, it's like 8 off at this point if you get above 35 PSI or so. But it's lightweight. It's not quiet, but none of them are because it's a small pump. It's going to get warm like all small pumps do. You've got this cool light here at the top, and it's got 3 modes. You can turn it on, and that's incredibly useful for obviously working in the dark, but any kind of spots where you need to see where you're connecting to. It also does an SOS and just a pulse mode or off. That's really cool, but I have not gotten that battery gauge to come down. They say it's got 3 hours of charge. I don't know how long or how many tire inflations you're going to get, but this thing is going to be able to just sit in your vehicle, for at least months, and you don't have to worry about it discharging or not being able to do its job and inflate your tire. So that's really cool. If you want to set your preset modes, you can just use the up and down. And like I said, you can just turn it on and off, and it shows you the current value at any given moment. Now, another thing that, again, it might be a design limitation, but it's a really short connection. It's not a problem on a car, and obviously not a problem with balls or toys or anything like that, but when you're doing, especially a bike, where you've got to get into a nice tight spot, it's not that flexible of a tube, and that's all the room you have. So you've got to get down there and hold it, and it's so short that if your valve on a car is at the bottom, Let's see, like this one down here, you got to bend down. So, it's not that comfy. If you got a flat tire here, it's going to take you probably 5 to 10 minutes to fill up a large car tire. Whereas if it's at the top, you can stand up and just hold it. It does vibrate a lot, so you don't want to just set it down on the concrete. It's going to damage itself, so you do want to hold it or put it on a towel or something. But maybe that's a design challenge and they just can't make this any longer. Maybe that would change the accuracy or how well it inflates. I don't know. The other thing that would be nice is if there was an end that had a quick connect. This is a quite stiff connection. It's a great connection. It's really neat because it doesn't let air out. You screw it on and you can watch the gauge start to come up as you screw it tighter and tighter. And I've got some like that where it takes 5 to 10 spins to actually lock down, and all the time it's letting the air out. So you lose a couple pounds just by attaching whatever you're attaching. This doesn't do that. So that's really neat. It's a really good connection, but it would be nicer if there was a quick connect, kind of like a normal air pump. But again, maybe they can't do that. I don't know. And this unscrews right here, so you can just lay it on the side to fit it in your bag. That's it. I mean, it is a really cool device. The other really cool thing is I got the company for the next 7 days to knock 50% off the price. This thing's under $50 right now. The link is down below, and it's good on Amazon anywhere in the US. I don't know about overseas, but this link is at least good for US Amazon customers for the next 7 days. You can get this thing for under $50. I'm excited not only because it is an incredibly well thought out, useful product that I am going to actually use here in the garage, but I know a lot of you are going to get a lot of use out of it. So there you go. There's your Fanttik X8 inflator. Pick one up if you need one, or even if you don't, because it's going to stay in your garage for a long time. See ya.